Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. And yesterday we saw, well, over the last few days actually, started to notice that Tesla was giving 5 waves up. We were also noticing that Amazon was creeping higher. So there's been a few sort of leading stocks that that have pushed higher. Normally we'd be looking at Apple to sort of lead the way and at least be in the front runners, but that's obviously going through its own thing with China at the moment. So it does appear that more stocks are sort of shoring up for the bullish side of things. So that means that for the NASDAQ at least, and maybe not so much for the S&P because it's been dragged by the banks, but on the NASDAQ we may need to look at this as this wave 4 already completed here. If we make a little new high here, let's just assume for a moment that we do, then obviously when you make a new high, the market can pull back down again, checking for support, but then sort of pushing up again. So it could be something like this here. So anyway, that's the sort of thing that we may need to be looking at and sort of heading up into this wave 5 here, the same as Amazon is at the moment. And we can look at this as wave 3 up here. We can look at this, I could put wave 3 way up here and wave 5, up here as well. I could bring it down earlier, but the best thing to do is just count the waves. This wave 1 here was quite long, so then extension in wave 3. So to have this length over here would be one way of getting a rough sort of estimate of a target, but and of course there's other ways as well. But the important thing is that we stay a little bit diligent and we look for long trade setups. Not so much today. I mean, there's some stocks I can point out that you can go long, which but I think we're going to get sort of trapped at a bit of a top here, because any sort of long trade, as an example here, any sort of long trade above these here is going to hit this high, and this high. So it's going to be sort of stagnated here. So what it needs to do in its own way, and this may not be sort of very accurate, but what it needs to do is it'll keep getting sort of pushed down in some sort of way, and these moves could be intraday we can, until it builds up a bit of a base and it can push through and then come back and sit on the highs here. That's the normal sort of thing, and then push up there. So it's always a bit of a struggle to get through the old highs. So I suggest that if we do that, then we need to trade less, so to speak. But it's just a general sort of assumption, really. We need to take each one on their own sort of merit, but I have been toying with wave 4 being here and over here and back and forth, that I've been going on this little journey, but there is that build up of stock. I won't go on to the intraday here on this. We'll do that in the next video. We'll focus a little bit more on the stocks. Now, Apple is one that obviously has been a bit damaged, and we noticed that we had that 5 waves down here, and I'm sort of in two minds of this as well, because when I take a closer look at this, it's quite, putting wave 1 here would be in line with the rest of the market, so to speak. But otherwise, it would be, I count a really nice sort of move into this particular space here. And this is a little bit high for a wave 4, and would still need wave 5 to come down, a little bit lower here for this. But there is a possibility that could be in place there, I mean, obviously there's, $200 billion or whatever it is being wiped off sort of Apple. But the reality is that, the office users in that particular space are only using, less than 1% of Apple iPhones, so the numbers don't really sort of add up. I mean, markets are emotional. We're all emotional to a point, so that's really sort of what's happening. But also, as I mentioned yesterday, we were talking about a couple of things on this low here, which I'll just sort of go back over today again a little bit, is that, you know, we'll have that support here, we'll have that support here, we'll have this support here for this. There's going to be a lot of support around here, and you can actually see it in the, you know, it dropped fast here and rallied, hit supply on these ones, and then it's just been sort of edging lower, but it's not racing away, you know what I mean? So we need to be, I don't want to trade in this little space here actually, so we're just going to go into the 100 tick area here, and we've got positions, well, these positions, and we've been in and out a little bit, but I think that we need to kind of, you know, in this instance here, I've got 1 and 2 here going down sort of much further. So we could either take profit or have a tighter stop, you know, or take, you know, some money off the table. But I feel like we need to do something. You know, I can, you know, and I have counted 5 waves down through here, but I know in my sort of in my soul, so to speak, that this counts nicely as 1 and 2 to here and 3, 4, 5 to here. It's just that if I looked at this as the 3rd wave, the 4th wave raised quite high here, you know, and because we had 5 over the other side over here, you know, still over here further, still over here, then we should, you know, we should look to have 5 over here. So we're probably on the right track, and I tend to panic a little bit early about things, but I think in one way or another we've got to kind of protect what's going on here. So if this move here, let's just say that this is wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here, then an ABC here, then we shouldn't really breach that top there, should we? So we could bring the stop down, and that would be for all the trades, this one here as well, up here. I'm going to just get rid of that. I put a bit of a trend line there through there, but that means sort of diddly squat really. So we're going to bring the stop to here and take a reasonable chunk off here. Okay, so I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger here, just to take a good chunk of it off, and we'll just see, because I think it's going to get a little bit rough. You know, I won't go back over it, but we know that you know, all through this area here is going to be pretty tough, you know. So I don't mind being in it, but we don't want to, you know, we want to protect everything that we have, you know. So anyway, that's that on that. And yeah, I mean, it could be that, you know, in some sort of weird way that this wave 1 here comes in over here, and the wave 2 here is you know, over here. Well, haven't got that right there, but and this becomes wave 4 here, and then we've got, you know, wave 3 here, and we just make with don't have a wave 5 here at the moment, but you know, we come down here and that's the end of it, you know. It's quite possible, because you know, the other markets are pushing up, and it's, you know, I'm just wondering when the, you know, it's sort of like the sellers are drying up in here in a way, you know. I mean, it'll just be retailers reading late news, making late decisions, all the normal sort of thing here. But the smart money, I think, will be coming in to buy this low here. Of course, I don't want to buy it because I don't have a setup in here just yet, you know. But we'll look at some other ones that are not damaged as much. So this is Amazon in the bigger picture here. So there's a couple of different ways to look at this whole trend. But the 2 ways that I'm working at the moment is either wave 3 here or wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C wave here. So there's different ways to view all of this. This 150 here is going to be a bit of a glass ceiling, and we'll see something. We'll see some type of correction across that level, something like this here for that. So we're just going into the sort of arrival stage at the moment, and it probably burned through that. We need to count 5 waves from here, so 1 and 2, and then going up for 3, 4, 5. We can see the stochastics is also pacing that out as well. So expecting a correction across the 150. So I'll just go into, I just want to have a look on the daily chart. I just want to see what difference I've got that on. Okay, I've got that slightly different there. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the count too much. It's really, I mean, well, the intraday count is more important, and also this number here is more important. It's also the 61.8% of this whole move down here too, by the way. And we're meeting supply over here with all of this on. They're definitely going to see some sort of dance across this space. So I just want to go to the 1,000 tick chart. And this is sort of where we've been for a little while. So yeah, it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So we'll be looking for that third wave, and then the fourth wave, and then the fifth wave up here for this. It's not too far away from the, this is kind of leading in a way, leading the NASDAQ in a way, so with the NASDAQ, we're heading up here for this wave 5 of this wave 3, and over here we're heading up for this one, so this is why the NASDAQ could be wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. There's a couple of other ways to count it, but yeah, we'll just get to that. But it's certain, this Amazon's certainly leading the way into this intermediate wave 3 space here, and we'll just go to the 100 ticks. So the other markets are kind of following this as well, so we had wave 1 over here. I'll just get in a bit more data. So wave 4, so 1 and 2, and going up for 3, we don't need that, and just double check things. Everything looks all right. Yeah, the aftermarket had this is the low here, but I may need to go back to this one. I'll just sort of see the difference. We might need to put wave 1 back over here, but yeah, the aftermarket trading hours have this as the low. And I can also rearrange this as well here, just to let you know. 45 should bring it back here. So we could put wave 5 here. The other way to look at this, of course, is to look at wave 1 here and wave 2 over here for this. And that will take us sort of even higher at that point. But yeah, the market sort of finishing off. I think that 145. Is that 145? Yeah. So 45. So we should see, because it didn't stop here. I mean, it had a good accumulation process across here. That's where it's gotten its strength from. That accumulation process. That needs to get the distribution process. That's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So it still needs to build up a little bit higher here. But it should fold back. But the alternative count would be as 1 and 2. But in the bigger picture, it's the 150 up here that would be heading up towards. So yeah, that's that. And Nvidia. So yeah, I've dropped this down 1 degree of structure. So I've put this here as a different wave 3, a smaller wave 3, and I'm looking at this as the ABC. So now I'm sort of just tying this into the S&P and the NASI and so on. So with this one here, we got stopped out of this. So that was yesterday. So that's that. We talked about going long, short again over here. It does make a nice. Little A, B, and C here. Still 1 wave short there actually for the C wave. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've still 1 more wave short there. That's interesting, but that's dropped down and overlapped that a bit. I mean, what we could do here is we could actually go long above that correction. I've either got wave 4 in here or I need to come down here further. And if we're going to come down here further, it would pretty much do it from where it is here. Just keep moving down at this point and have sort of another structure down here, which I can sort of extend down. That's not really a problem. But anyway, I'm looking for a low now for this. I don't think it's going to extend down much further, because really at the end of the day too, I kind of understand that it's just really a reaction from this number. It's just a whole lot of profit taking, and when you get, so there's profit taking going on, and then after a new low is made, all the stops get triggered. This is all that sort of stuff, you know, and then the value buyers start coming in. So this is, you know, it's giving me all that sort of thing there. I could look at this differently as well. I could look at this as wave 1 up here with a wave 2 over here. It's a bit big for a wave 2, so I've decided not to go there on that one, but I was thinking that originally. And it is sitting at 61.8%. There is going to be support there, and there is a bit of history on that there. You can see that number 5 is important. So yeah, I'm not too sure about this, but it doesn't really matter. We're not in this at the moment, so that's okay, you know. I don't particularly want to go along here because I just don't have enough evidence, you know. I mean, it would just be a little bit of a gamble. And if you want to take that, well, then that's fine. I suggest that you do, you know, a 25% position on that. Or instead of risking 1%, risk, you know, 25% of 1%, 0.25%. But yeah, I mean, that might be a little bit small. I mean, you really need a minimum trading account to get the numbers humming and running properly. You know, it's just not all about the trade. If you're a really good trader, you know, you can get away with like, you know, $5,000 or something and build your account, you know. But if you're not, then you've got to kind of play by the standard rules, and, you know, you kind of got to have, you know, at least $30,000 and risking sort of 1%. They'll keep you in the game long enough so you can learn. Okay, so Facebook here. So yesterday I talked about it sitting on top of this level here. It's migrated from being support, resistance, to support over here, and this is where the main battle was taken out here. Or this is where the front line was, you know. But after that, it's settled here. So to me, that's, you know, as I mentioned yesterday, it's a bullish sort of setup really, and we should be looking to go long. So based on the idea that the NASDAQ and some of these leading stocks can have this as an ABC pattern, that means that we don't need, you know, we won't be looking at the B wave here and the C wave down here. So we need to sort of start preparing. It may not be the case, but if we're prepared, then that's kind of helpful, isn't it? So that means that this won't be the A wave over here and the B wave up here. So we'll have to look at this differently, and I'll bring this wave 4 over to here, and then we'll need to look at this as wave 1 moving to the upside and a wave 2 coming back at this point. So it's starting to look like, and I'm starting to move away from this being an ABC correction to the upside. What did I do with my A wave? So we're going to just going to sort of huddle these together here, because it's just another step forward in being bullish. I mean, if it had failed here, then, you know, we'll be looking at the short side and so on, but it's not. It's you know, and also too, it's like in counting this up here, I've counted this in different ways, and you could count it in different ways again, but it's basically, if this was going to be an A wave here and a B wave here and a C wave over here, it should have really ended here, you know, here. So I'm kind of stretching the wave structure past this. Yes, I can take it to here to get 5 waves for, you know, for a wave C here. But anything above that now, we have to look at it as being bullish, you know. So I do have, you know, I could be completely wrong here, by the way, but that's what I'm sort of getting at the moment. And, you know, I'm not really seeing an impulse wave here, and I can count 1, 2 here and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Not a very good 5 waves, but sort of okay-ish. And then 4 and 5. So I'm getting 5 waves down here, a corrective wave here. You know, I may even get something like this here, and then a push up again from that point. But, you know, as an ABC pattern here, from the top to the bottom here is well above the 61.8%. So it would be getting a small position here and then building a larger position on the 310, because at the 310 we'll also get a little pattern like this as well, smaller version like this. We have to wait for this, so we need that, and all of this. So we're not there yet with that, but it's something that we need to, you know, prepare for. And so it looks like we're looks like I'm changing my mind with this, with a lot of these counts. But I feel like that's okay, and I'm okay with that, because I have to, the market is the boss, and I have to move with, do as I'm told, basically, and this is what it's telling me to do, so I have to go that way with it. So we're slowly changing a lot of the counts now. It may be true and it may not be, but we need to, we just need to be on the right side at the right time, and that's what I'm trying to do. So with Netflix here, this is a little bit of a, it's not the best looking correction here as well. So we're looking at this as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave down here. Now, once again here, I'll just talk about the trade here, because we had a small position here, we got triggered here, we'll talk about going under here, we've got the stop up here, which we can certainly move down, but the thing is that we're coming into this low here in the 400, so I want to take the money off the table now for this, and this would be wave 3 here and wave 4, and then this wave 4 here, and it may just be that, and that's the end of it. It's either going to be something like that, or I'll have to put wave 1 here and then wave 2 over here for that. But I think it could be enough, I don't know. Anyway, we need to be, I'm just going to put that right on there so we can see it. We need to be out, that's it, okay? So, yeah, will that be 1 and 2 down here? I don't know, I'll just have to see what we get over here, and I'm kind of a bit more interested in going long rather than short. It would be nice to, at least match this low down here for this, so I would imagine that we're going to get some sort of this, and then pushing up at that point, but I don't know if we get this here as an ABC and go down again, or we go up from that point. So we'll see what type of setups we get here. We just take it, just be a bit patient with this. I just don't really think it's worth I mean, I could be wrong, and it could just keep on cascading down. It's coming down pretty strong, but everything's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, and the beginning was slow, and then the middle was really fast, and the end's going to be really slow. So I don't think we're going to miss much, and we could have that money somewhere else at the moment. So yeah, I think I'm going to be moving these away as well. I'm just going to drop this down 1 degree here as well. Because I don't think we're here at that stage. And I'll probably have to shorten that even further. But it doesn't matter. The thing, my takeaway here is that this move from the top down to the bottom here is bullish corrective, right? It's not 5 waves coming down. So this is a bullish correction, and once it's finished, we're going up. I just don't know where the finishing line is here. I know there is one here. And we can look to go long over here, and we probably will. We may be able to build on that, or we may need to get out at break even, small loss, small profit, that type of thing, yeah, so anyway, that's that. More work needs to be done here, and anyway, we're out. We don't have to worry about it at the moment, so that's cool. And we'll come over to Google. So yeah, the only change here is that in the short term is that I was counting 5 waves up here, but from this pullback here, now we need to look at this as 1 and 2 here. So you could go long here if you wanted to. I'll leave that up to you. We should be going up here further, so we can look at this. You'll get up to the 140, no problems, if you wanted to go long. And we'll see a dance across here. I also want to change all this here. These wave 5s need to go way up here somewhere. Oh, that wave 5 can stay there, but that would be, I'm going to make this a wave 3 here now. I'm going to line it up with, because we looked at this with the communications sector, didn't we? So this is the communications sector here. And yeah, I've got it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4 here. So we'll go up for 5 here. Yeah, it can be wave C here, sure, but more likely wave 3 at this point. So anyway, we'll just keep the bear alive. Just put it in hibernation. So yeah, that's that. So that's got the bearish count and the bullish count on it, but so that's what we'll do. We'll have this as wave 4 here, which will be this wave 5 here, and I've already got this here, so wave 4 here, yeah, so that's all cool. So that's that. So really, in a way, Google, I thought Google was behind, behind the sort of following, but it's actually leading, So if it's leading, that means that when this finishes here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I could look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, by the way, and build up a stronger move to the upside. I'll be aware of that, but I'm also aware that the little 5 waves here, then the next 5 waves, and then wave 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is leading, just to put it out there, if we get 5 waves up here, and then 4 and 5 here, this top here, this is going to be significant. This we can, because a lot of the time I use Apple as a bit of a template, but it's gone a bit, it's out of action for the time being. So we can use Google. So that means that when we get this 5 wave top here, we have to be extremely careful with all the other markets. Okay, so we'll just keep an eye on that. This is Microsoft here. I'm going to do the same thing here as well. So I did have this wave 3 over to here, but I've just gone back to this one. I mean, I could put this wave 3, but I just kind of want to stay in line with the rest of the market. So we were looking at this being an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here, and then coming down for an A and a B and a C. It's telling me on the intraday structure that's not the case, and we should be, in one way or another, be pushing up here somewhere. So we do have a nice, 300 is a major level, and we've got 1, 2, and 3, which is group 1. And when I get on to group 1, with a bit of a classic trading levels pattern there as a tested support, then we'd look to go along from there. So I think this is a long trade. I think, I mean, there's others, of course, but I think this is a reasonably safe long trade, It's got a fair way to go from that top there, so there'll be different ways that we could count this. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for one, like, let's just imagine for a moment back to Alphabet here. If this goes up here, then with Microsoft, I mean, it's okay for Google because it's making a new high here, but from Microsoft, we would have to look at this as 1 and 2 coming back here in its own way, so coming over to here, because it's got a long way to go. Once Google tops out up here, then this will be like wave 1 and 2 at this point. I mean, that's upside down, of course, but it's just the way that first one came out. So we'll look for a wave 1 and 2 here, so to speak, to get us up here higher. And, we've got to wait for the S&P, and, there's going to be some leaders and followers in all of this. I mean, when we go to the intraday, I'll probably have put wave 1 over here, but you get the idea. We could get an extended third wave in here as well. That's the other side of this. So I'm just going to go to, I'm not sure what I've updated here. Have we been working on the 1000? Yeah, okay, so this is cool, it's a bit more clearer here. So in this case, I'm extending it as 1 and 2. We've got to get up to wave 3 normally comes in around the tops. So it would be like this. and then wave 5 to the upside. So I could extend this up here, because sometimes the third wave is just like a freight train. It just keeps sort of going, you know, and building a long structure. So I'm not quite sure the best way to count this. As I just mentioned, we could put wave 1 over here and wave 2 here. We could do that. So there's different ways to look at this, but all I know is that the 3 was the resistance from this first leg here, and you can see from here to here that it's basically migrated from being resistance to support. It came back quite deeply here, so we'll need to be a little bit careful, but we should really be looking for a long trade within here. Now, we could do a few things here. We could, you know, we may see that come in as a high here, and then we can have that high, or we could have this high here to go along on. There's a few things there that we could, different ways to move in, but let's just go to the and this is also the 50-60% retracement level from the top here. So that 340 area here, which is already started here, is something that we could also use as well. So I could just drop that there, but I'll just put it on the 40. We'll just do it on the intraday. Further inside, we'll go to 100. So get some more data. So this is it here. So I've been looking at this morning and just trying to. I can see that it can be counted in different ways. The takeaway is that we're getting impulse waves to the upside. You know, so it's bullish, and now we've got support on the 30 here. This move down here does appear to be a little bit bearish, so it's quite possible that we could get a flip side to this and then move up. But in the first instance, my inkling is to go long here, but then I'll kind of want to improve on that. So we just go. I wouldn't really worry about this little count that I've got here. I'm going to be changing that. I see that I can do it in a few different ways, so I haven't really got my thing on that. This little move here, I think that we could actually bring that down to here. This also looks like a little 5-wave structure coming down here, so it may fail at this point. I don't have a very good structure to the upside here. Obviously that's 5 waves. This little move here is 5 waves. This little move here is 5 waves. So it's not really giving me an A, B, and C correction here at the moment. It looks like that, and this is 5 waves here, and it could certainly drop here. But I kind of want to look at getting long in here somewhere. I might just drop into 10 ticks here and just have a bit of a look at this a little bit closer here. I mean, we could look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Okay, that's a little bit different, but I was looking at this as, okay, that's different too. So I was kind of, I mean, at first glance, I thought this was 5 waves. That's 1 and 2, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there and there. So this looks like it wants to go up from this point. So what's our numbers here? We've got 3650, which is 3650 is important because it's part of group 2, which will be 8 here, and 3720. So normally what I sort of say is, if this is all of group 2 here, if we can get support in this, then we can go long on this. That's what I'd be looking for. Yeah, the flip side here is that where the stop and that needs to go is that if that is 5 waves up there, that means that at some point it could drop back into all the 3s here for that. So we need to be under the 332 here for need to be down here. Yeah, that's good enough. I mean, it looks quite impulsive, that move here, doesn't it? We could go 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. Yeah, I just wanted to get support at this supply level. So, okay. I think we might just look at this tomorrow. We'll just check this out tomorrow, I think. Let's just see what we get from here. So we know that this little move up here, if it is corrective, we know that around all the threes is a 61. We'll have to leave this down here. So the stop would need to go, if you're going to go for this, you have to wait for the first low below the level. See, like this little low here, and then put the stop under here. Now it could be at any price, but you have to wait for it. So that's where the stop will go. I mean, the other thing that concerns me a little bit with this is that you see this structure here, how this low here was higher than this one here. That sort of doesn't have any sort of overlapping wave structures, you know. But over here, we start, this one's overlapping this one's overlapping this one. So I think I'll just remove this, but now that we've talked about it, we can see that it needs to go higher. It's just a matter of how to find a way in, you know. I mean, if I'd woken up earlier, I would have had this, it would have been on this one, then down to that top, and then down to here, and down onto that one. That's where I would have been, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But here I feel like I'm in no man's land here. So we'll just wait here. But just to let you know that we are looking for a setup in Microsoft, and we're also looking for a setup in Tesla as well. So with Tesla here, we've got off the low here, we've got wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We could put wave 4 to here, but we'll see how that plays out. And here, in the last 5 waves up here, we're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4 here. That 4 may pull back down here a little bit further, but we still need that wave 5 up there, as we've been talking about over the last few sessions. And then we'll need some sort of ABC back here again, and then we can look to go long at this. So we have to wait for this to continue going higher, and it's not going to go very far past number 8 here, but that's what we're sort of looking at this stage. And of course we've got the 300 here as well, which is going to be, you know, it needs a bit of navigation as well. But if we can get a couple of positions, you know, within group 2 here somewhere, and then just keep an eye on it and see how it builds across here for this. Okay, so that's that. Sorry for such a long video, but yeah, so the takeaway is that with a lot of the stocks, you know, like Meta, we can clearly see where Amazon is. That's been going for a while now. So we're starting to see stocks that are presenting the idea that we can have wave 4 in play here already. That's for the tech stocks, those big tech stocks. It doesn't mean that the S&P is in that bucket just yet. I mean, obviously some of them are in there, but they've also got banks and other things as well. So, but they won't be far away. They'll do some other weird little patterns to do it. But in a nutshell, this is what we're kind of looking at the moment. So we'll just see how all this plays out. So we're not there yet. We've tightened up all our short trades. We don't have any long trades in yet, but we're thinking about it. We just need the right intraday setups for these. So yeah, interesting anyway. So that's all good. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Nothing really to do actually at this point. We'll just chill. But you can see some stocks need to move higher, like Amazon and Microsoft. I think Microsoft will be one of the good trades. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Cheers.